5 months of full-blown I'm doing videos on it.
The dick.
You're involved in a trauma cycle.
Give me a 9-inch dildo.
It's not even anything.
And right now, NASA figured out how to get the biggest dick in the world. Because they did it with magic.
Best thing to do with placenta.
Can I squirt out of it?
Maybe in 2 weeks I'll start seeing it, like I'll freak out again, but like right now I'm pretty close to
Squirting!
And if that makes me less entertaining to watch, I don't care either.
Can you hear me now? I'm gonna put this in my mouth. It's a dick. All about getting them dicks.
I don't care anymore at all.
I can't afford it. I gotta watch my pornos. It'd be nice to not have to watch your pornos. How was my supposed to squirt?
Look at that big dick squirting. Oh yeah, baby. On a giant dick with fire coming out of it.
It'd be nice to be the Jolly Green Giant, and they forced me to suck them off in a closet.
I was just a piece of meat for that dude.
BB, I need help. My fiance's mom's aunt passed from COVID, or how she told the hospital. She was elderly. As a result, though, she's worried and considers me. I don't care at all. That woman is a fucking retard. Once you understand that, everything makes sense.
Because it's about the dicks.
I have to go to the gay bar every day.
Quick, touch your asshole.
Must be nice.
It's like in a bar, it's like $5 per. People go out and have 8
dicks.
Not think twice about it. It's $40 plus, maybe $10 in tipping, depending on how drunk you get. $50 could buy you 50
dicks.
Guys, I used to be a drinker.
You think it's tough to rape a guy? You think it's tough to become sexually aroused by a guy and fuck the guy?
It might be nice. You can be banned for life. I don't have to squirt and I'm jerking off and...
I'm obsessed with dicks.
I know what they're doing. I can hear the zipping from my end of the phone. Just zip.
Obsessed.
Just zip.
Obsessed.
Either they just got done jerking off or they're about to start. Like, I can hear the zips. It's like a sea of 1,000 zips. It's just like,
Must be
It's squirting on a level that's tough to fathom.
Next, he's gonna make us put the dildo in our ass.
I'm gonna put you on the ground. I'm gonna fuck your asshole.
that's when you pivot. Right, just walk away. Must be nice. Five months of full-blown I'm doing videos on it.
The dick.
You're involved in a trauma cycle.
Give me a 9-inch dildo.
It's not even anything.
And right now, NASA figured out how to get the biggest dick in the world. Because they did it with magic.
Best thing to do with placenta.
Can I squirt out of it?
Maybe in 2 weeks I'll start seeing it, like I'll freak out again, but like right now I'm pretty close to
Squirting!
And if that makes me less entertaining to watch, I don't care either.
Can you hear me now? I'm gonna put this in my mouth. It's a dick. All about getting them dicks.
I don't care anymore at all.
I can't afford it. I gotta watch my pornos. It'd be nice to not have to watch your pornos.
Alrighty, folks. Good evening and welcome to this edition of the Whitfield Report, Room Wax edition. That's right. The Gamma Secret Kings have won. So, or rather, I should say, Patreon has won the lawsuit against Owen Benjamin. So, a couple people have asked me to do a stream about this. Before, so I'm going to do it tonight. Apologize for the delay there. But, anyway. How is everyone doing tonight? So, is my game... Okay, gotcha. Okay, there we go. There we go. The volume should be a lot better. Yeah, I'm using my old software. OBS is kind of being a pain in the ass. So I'm using Ecamm, which strangely enough works with Restream now. So that's nice. But anyway, I hope everyone is doing well. So hopefully this won't be too long of a stream here. But long story short, Owen lost his arbitration case with Patreon, or it's looking that way. Now, there were a lot of people kind of in the free speech community a couple weeks ago who were telling me that this was a good thing that Owen was taking on Patreon because they were the bad guys. They were the the worst of the two evils. And that this was a big free speech issue, which we all know, at least in this community, that when it comes to Owen, nothing is about free speech with him. He is the exact opposite of a free speech warrior. But he still likes to trot out that card whenever he can. So it's very interesting that this popped up. So I want to take you back to about a week ago now, when Owen was saying, "Guys, we just took down Patreon," and how did that go, Owen? Let's see how that went down for you guys. So this was Owen a couple weeks ago, bragging at how he had won and how they were going to take down Patreon. And this was the turnout phase on this is great.
Guys, we just had a big win in the Patreon lawsuit today. Let's see, what did Mike Cernovich just reported on it. Thank you, Mike, for that. Update, Patreon lost. The judge applied well-established law and denied Patreon's motion, sided against them in their lawsuit against Owen Benjamin fans. Patreon will now be forced to arbitrate over 100 claims and pay up-front fees of $10,000 per arbitration. So, that was a ruling by a judge in San Francisco. Like, these are tools. It's just like a gun or a hammer. Some people look at the hammer, they say that's a deadly weapon. All it does is bash people in the skull. No, it's just a hammer. It can also build a house. And so the system is a hammer. So it is what it is. And think about all the opposition we had about Patreon. It's just like, oh, Owen got all his bears in legal. We have taken down one of the biggest companies in Silicon Valley because they censored me. We're making them pay to a degree where they might not be able to recover from this.
Okay, now that's very interesting that he's saying that he's taking down one of the biggest companies in Silicon Valley, because I believe that is actually false, so to speak. Let me go into Google here real quick. I had this pulled up just a moment ago. And okay, so let's do an organic search here, shall we? So I've got let's see. Okay, so let's do a Google search. Let's just search Patreon, and let's see, when did Patreon start here? Let me move some of the overlays. Okay, so Patreon started in 2013. So that is not that long ago. They only have about 3 million users, which may seem like a lot, and out of like all the user paywall platforms, that is pretty big. But to say that they're the biggest, to say that they're one of the biggest companies in Silicon Valley, compared to something like Facebook or Google, is just patently false. It's just crazy that Owen is saying that. And don't forget, folks, that when he first lost his Patreon account, he said that he didn't even care about it. He said that this was, that he had his P.O. box and that was good enough for him. He even bragged. I think Johnny Arcade once had this video on his Clips channel, although, I don't know what happened to it. But at one point, there's a clip where Owen admits that he talked to one of the Patreon support people, and they offered to restore his account if he agreed to come back and follow their TOS, and he said no. So basically, Owen forwent, getting back on Patreon, and then basically tried to sue them, and that didn't work out. So let me go over to the Game of Secret Kings subreddit here and pull up the info here on whoops, that's another thing in and of itself. Oh, this is another thing of Teddy's, which I'll get to here in a sec. Okay, where did I put this? Okay, hang on, it just popped up here. Okay, so this is it. The Secret Kings win again, victory over Grifterhood. Patreon lawsuit, Owen Benjamin Box Day. Let me try and blow this up for you, and I'll read this for you guys. Somewhat to our surprise, the arbiter in Owen's case ruled that Patreon does have the contractual right it claims to kick anyone off its platform at any time without any reason. Whether the user being kicked off has violated any rules, or can you guys see this, or is there a lag in the screen sharing? Okay, yeah. Whether the user being kicked off has violated any rules or community guidelines or not, that right to terminate any user any time at will was the reason he gave for granting Patreon's request for summary deposition. The arbitrator also appeared to make the mistake of confusing terminating the contract with deleting the creator page, but given his very broad grant of permissions to Patreon, this nevertheless means that Owen's Okay, so it is still displaying the Google page. That's weird. That is really weird that it's still displaying the Google page. Let me close this and oh, interesting. It's not showing this in Google Chrome. So hold on here just one sec. Okay. New tab. Okay. Alright. Okay. This works. So this is the full this is the post on Vox's website where he readily admits that they've lost the case. So like I said, basically Teddy is saying that he's surprised that they lost the case. Now I want to focus right here where it says the arbitrator also appeared to make the mistake confusing terminating the contract with deleting the creator page, but given his very broad grant of permissions to Owen, this nevertheless means that Owen's arbitration is pretty much over. And basically stated here above, the court basically ruled that Patreon has the right to kick anyone off their platform at any given time, which is also interesting, but not surprising, because that is how Patreon works in their terms of service. In fact, I would argue, and I argued a few months ago, that it was actually generous of Patreon to offer Owen to get back on the platform as long as he agreed with their terms of service. But he said no and decided to try and go after them anyway. Now, the reason why I brought up Patreon's the fact that Patreon is a fairly new company, right, is the fact that Owen probably thought that because they were a new company, they would be more vulnerable, and so he'd be able to get, more money, because, Owen might be somewhat stupid, and, same with Vox, but they definitely know that there's no way that they're going to take down YouTube or Twitter. They know that YouTube and Twitter are the, obviously those are the two big platforms, that give people trouble when it comes to free speech. But, they know that they can't go after that, so they're going to go after Patreon, which, is basically just like, a payment, processor. Patreon is not like a free speech website. It's, it's where users can create subscription services for themselves and their content, basically. Okay, so going back to this blog post. So, what does it mean for Metacase in the hundreds? Hang on here. And hundreds of other ongoing and pending arbitrations? Nothing at all. Arbitrations are arbitrary, and they set no precedent from one proceeding to the next. In fact, even Owen's arbitrator pointed out that in his ruling that Patreon's attempt to cite other arbitral rulings in his arbitration were not valid and could not be considered. It is not the first tactical loss, and it probably won't be the last, but neither the tactical wins nor the losses will make any difference as things proceed towards the inevitable end. Which was funny because everyone was saying that this arbitration could set new precedent, for free speech laws. And now Teddy Spaghetti is admitting that that's not the case. Now, I found a clip from a guy who I think kind of breaks, down this whole Patreon thing better than I certainly can. This is an excerpt from another show, so let me pull up the link to the video, for that. So this is a YouTube channel. Let me get the name here real quick. So this is Anthony Brian Logan. I guess he's a kind of like a black conservative commentator. One of his super chatters a few weeks ago asked him about what this Patreon case means, and so here is his response. All right.
Backers to file arbitration cases against Patreon, joining Owen Benjamin and his fans. Oh my goodness. Oh man, thank you for asking that question. Matthew Hammond, thank you for asking me that question. These people are morons. Look, Sargon Nafakai, Lawrence Southern, Owen Benjamin, straight morons. First of all, Owen Benjamin just trying to get money for himself. He's just trying to get paid from Patreon through the lawsuit. He sees dollar signs. It's not even about nothing else. Listen.
Yep, that was pretty much the the whole thing in a nutshell. This guy gets it, that this was not a free speech issue. It was just a money grab for Owen, because Owen's not a free speech warrior. If he had been, we would probably still be part of the Unbearables. Like the whole entire crew, there wouldn't have been any split offs, and also Owen would have never gone down this whole rabbit hole that he went down. But that also speaks to the fact that Nimmer probably wouldn't have been around and whatnot. So we're dealing with a bunch of stuff here, folks. But continuing on,
if you have 3 creators that are kind of conservative, like I wouldn't even see Sargon as a conservative, or Owen Benjamin, Lawrence Southern a little bit, but you got 3 people that got an issue with Patreon. That's between them and Patreon, not me or you or anybody else. You got thousands of guys on Patreon that are conservative with no problem. You got thousands of creators on Patreon who are conservative that have no problem. Thousands. Remember when the whole apocalypse thing happened back in 2017? And everybody went to Patreon to get their income supplemented because, YouTube was censoring us and we couldn't make no money, all this and that. Patreon was a saving grace back then. Okay, a lot of us still over there making a good living right now. Okay, a lot of guys over there they're straight right now. But you got 3 people that got a problem.
And that's a good point too. The whole reason why not just conservatives, but people in general started using Patreon, whether it be YouTubers who, do political commentary like we do, or, like do movie reviews, or play video game live streams, or do anything like that. The whole reason why Patreon really took off was because of the adpocalypse from YouTube. Not just that, but like YouTube doesn't even abide by their own fair use rules. Like, even if you use like a clip from a movie, with fair use, if you comment over it and use it in a creative way like you're supposed to, YouTube will still demonetize you. And now you need over 1,000 people subscribe to your channel just to even be eligible for monetization, which is difficult. So Patreon was a good way for many creators across all spectrums on YouTube to, supplement their creator income. And Owen wanted to basically destroy that for his own selfish gain. So this clip only lasts a few minutes longer, but let me finish this here, because he makes a few other good points.
And we gotta shut Patreon down. We gotta sue Patreon. What? Why? For what? It makes no sense. If Owen got a problem, Sargon got a problem, they handle it with Patreon themselves. Don't get me involved. You shouldn't be involved either. That's their problem. It's like if somebody get fired from the job, what, you gonna quit your job too? Like if you work at a job with somebody and they get fired, what, you gonna quit because they got fired? No, that's between them and the company. I mean, to me, it's just kind of crazy. They are weaponizing their fan base to try and get cash. And personally, I don't got no dog in the fight, really. Patreon is cool, but if it was to go away today, I wouldn't be hurt. I'd be okay. So I don't make a living over there at all. Like, at all. So it wouldn't hurt me. I'm just saying it don't make no sense for people to say, okay, let's sue Patreon and kill the website because of 3 people that got a problem. Let them handle their problem with Patreon themselves. You got thousands of guys on there that are fine and conservative. It was a refuge for us when YouTube was not able to pay us or whatever. Now you want to kill it? For what? Because, okay, the thing about Patreon is, I was reading that if Patreon has to arbitrate, they got to pay for each one. It's like $10,000 each. That could just kill them. So nah. That is their problem, period. I don't care. I said the same thing about Sargon some years ago. I got a lot of hate for it, but I don't care. I'm going to send them what I say because I know I'm right. And once it's all over with, you know that I'm right. 1,000. Anytime I say a thing like this, it always turns out to be right. Trust and believe me. All right. So how do y'all feel about Owen, Benjamin, and Sargon and Lauren Southern and their Patreon issues? I thought that was like old news, really. But then I saw it again on my social media. I'm like, what? Is that still going on for real in 2020? With all the ways that YouTube has improved since then, they got super chat, they got merchandise. Like, what are y'all even crying about? It's all about trying to get money from a lawsuit from Patreon. It's not about their livelihood or anything else. It's not censoring, because most guys that are over there have no problem. I've been there for a long time with no problem. Tatum over there, other guys that are white, black, Puerto Rican, they over there with no problem. Okay, I'm moving on to the next thing.
Okay, so that was pretty much the end of that clip that I wanted to play. But, that guy, Anthony Brian Logan, who I'm going to subscribe to here on the Whitfield Report channel. I was subbed to him, but I got unsubbed. I like his take on the whole thing, and he's right. There are lots of conservatives on Patreon still. Now, I have other problems with Patreon, like regarding their percentages of how much they take. That has kind of become like more of an issue. But I mean, as far as like content creators that are on there that are conservative, I mean, you have Nick DiPaolo, who is, Nick DiPaolo is conservative and he's politically incorrect, but he's not, he's not like an extremist like Owen is. And, he's not like an edgelord. He's an actual comedian. And the other thing too is, people were saying that like Sargon of Akkad could get in on this, and Lauren Southern. Well, as Vox just pointed out in his article, the arbitration, like Owen's arbitration case won't set precedent for anything in his favor. So, if Sargon tries to sue Patreon, it's going to be an entirely different case. There's not going to be any precedent. Milo tried to sue Patreon a few years ago for some such thing. I can't remember what. And, he didn't win. Like, he actually, I think he did a little bit better than Owen did in his case, maybe, but, like, he really didn't win the thing either. And again, it's not necessarily censorship. The other thing is, too, that someone brought up to me, is if Owen is so, desperate to get back on Patreon or get back on one of those digital payment systems, why can't he just, use, like, Subscribestar or, a platform like that? There are the Patreon alternatives like Subscribestar out there. There's Project 2, and there are a few other ones that pop up. They're now that are kind of coming around. And the big argument is, Owen needs his Patreon, or Owen needs his PayPal to, use Patreon. He doesn't have access. Well, first of all, Patreon can do direct deposits into your bank account if you want. Same with Subscribestar and a lot of these other platforms. So again, if it were just merely an issue of, getting on another platform, we would be having an entirely different conversation. So, yeah, well, and as Johnny points out in the chat, he has unauthorized too. But see, here's the interesting thing about unauthorized. We've been saying for months and months and months that unauthorized doesn't work, right? Isn't the fact that Owen is trying to sue Patreon and possibly re-platform himself, wasn't that like an indication that even they know that it doesn't work that well? Do you see what I'm saying? So, yeah. Johnny says, I think Idaho will be good for Owen. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess there are already people showing up to test Owen arriving, so that's interesting. Let's see. I hope Patreon goes after the individual bears, says Alan Pell. I mean, part of me, I have mixed emotions about that. Part of me agrees with you, Alan, with like a few of the specific bears that went after us during the whole gummy debacle. I certainly hope some of them get cleaned out, but I mean, I do feel bad for at least some of them that got taken for a ride. Well, but then again, I don't. You know, if you're gullible enough to hop on the Owen train, as as Johnny pointed out in the E Scorpio documentary, which I watched again the other night. I sent that to a friend. Once you're on board with Owen for the moon landing stuff and the anti-dinosaur stuff, you're pretty much allowing yourself to surround yourself with nonsense. So yeah. Please follow. Oh, thank you, Fat Cake Boy. I think this one should be multi-streaming on DLive too, because I'm using Restream, so I think it should pop up. But anyway, so what's next for the Big Bear? Well, we still have Beartaria, Idaho to contend with, and to be honest, I don't really know how that's going to go. So, as far as the Patreon and the lawsuit goes, there's not a lot to cover, other than what we just did cover. And let's see what else. I know that some people brought up, Owen's dad. So I suppose I could do some commentary on that. I haven't really seen a lot of the stuff that Owen has said on his dad lately. I've seen some of it, but let me go here to our buddy Milker Nation. Alan says, I'll be surprised Vone can close on a property. Yeah, I kind of would be too, Alan, especially with what's going on, right now, with the entire economy kind of taking a crap right now. But who knows? Let's see. Okay, well, Milker Nation has 1.34 has 1.34 thousand subscribers now. That's impressive. I remember when Milker was just a few hundred subscribers. So I guess this is the video of Owen talking to his dad that a lot of people are referencing these days. So let's see what this is. About. I have not seen this one yet, so should be interesting.
Survivor's guilt that I couldn't help my own father. I understand this. I understand this whole thing, guys. I've been to hell and back. Still climbing out of it today. My father currently is faking that he has prostate cancer so that I'll talk to him. I will not talk to him. I'll never talk to him again. Why do you think I've been doing so many jokes about how people want to be inserted in their ass to get prostate checks? My dad's a homo. I'm clearly not a homo. It's so fucking obvious. If nothing more, my fat gut. Homos never have fat guts.
Hold on a sec, guys. I have a clip to play. Because, that's not true, Mr. Roomwhack Bear. That is not true at all.
5 months of full-blown. I'm doing videos on it.
The dick.
You're involved in a trauma cycle.
Give me a 9-inch dildo.
It's not even anything.
And right now, NASA figured out how to get the biggest dick in the world. Because they did it with magic.
Best thing to do with placenta.
Can I squirt out of it?
Maybe in 2 weeks I'll start seeing it, like I'll freak out again, but like right now I'm pretty close to
Squirting!
and if that makes me less entertaining to watch, I don't care either.
Can you hear me now?
I'm gonna put this in my mouth. It's a dick. I'm all about getting them dicks.
I don't care anymore at all.
I would have three. I can't afford it. Dick. I watch my pornos. I'd be 19 and not have to watch your pornos. That was my pussy.
Look at that.
Okay, so obviously he's not homo, right, guys? Yeah, don't know about that.
They get excommunicated. And it's just not, they don't do that. Your dad's a homo? Yeah. I've really thought about that, though, where it's like, I don't even know if he's a homo or it's just extreme narcissism. These old people dying alone with nobody around.
So Owen's not even sure that his dad is gay anymore. You know, and now he's back on the my dad is gay train, but whatever.
And no family and no that. It's like, I'm not putting it on them. I'm not judging them, but that's a life of sin. My dad is psychopathic. I wouldn't let him die alone. He's 78. He's guys, maybe one day I'll read some of the emails and just to show you what pure evacuation gamma looks like. But just so people can have a benefit from his madness. But even me, I would not let him die alone. And guys, I think he's full of he's run completely by demons. My mom, salt of the earth. I'm begging her to move to Idaho with us. But even my fucking dad, I wouldn't have him die alone. I'd have rules. I'd say you're not allowed around my kids. You live in that little fucking shack over there, and I'll give you food, and I'll be here for you, but you're not one of us. Unless, you know, at this point, I'm not taking that risk. But
Isn't his mom the one who left him, though, when he was a child? And dad was the one who, like, took care of him and his brother for, like, a year or more when he was a kid? Yeah, Johnny brings up a good point. If his dad isn't gay, then he was looking at the gay porno. Very good question, Mr. Arcade. Very good question indeed.
you know, and he's like, I have so much to tell you. I have so much, you know, when I'm dead and you're crying and I'm free and I'm like, just the gamma behavior's madness. He's like, I've never lied. I've never done anything wrong. I've never, and this is what I told him. I said, Dad, I know, because I haven't talked to him in like a year and a half. And I sent him my first email to him. I'll just read it to you. This will be helpful to people. Oh, you're breaking his confidence. No, just no. This will help people, and that's all I care about. It's like, honor your father is great. Like, let his treachery be an example for other people. So I tried to call my mother yesterday, and he answered, and so I just hung up because I don't talk to him. He had a lot of affairs with men. I don't even know if he's a homo or it's just extreme narcissism. Behind my mom's back and stole $250,000 from her. You know, committed crimes. You know, he visited me once in Los Angeles in my room. I don't want to talk about it, but it's all very real, very dark. He's a highly regarded academic, full professor, you know, left wing, you know, very smart. I get it. But like, guys, like the epitome of gone. And so and in these times, he's like, he knows I just don't talk to him anymore. And I'm not even mad. I just, I've nothing. There's no, I'll read you the email right now, and then I'll read some letters. I'm not carrying that burden. I'm not like, I hate my dad, but I'm, But I respect you for your honesty on these matters, BB. Anytime. This will help people. People and logos are black sheep. Right. So anyway, listen. So
Okay, how is you talking about your dad and basically like airing his alleged dirty laundry to the world? How is that going to help other people?
you do not need to hang up on me. I am old, 78, and very much sensitive to this virus. Should I die and we never chat again, you will be very, very sad and probably crying that you never got the whole story out of me. I am not gay, have not had sex with anyone other than your mother, and certainly never paid any man for sex. It is really too bad you won't let me talk to you about any of these things while I am still around, but you will be the one suffering, not me. My life would be over, and I never even met your second son, let alone the one due this summer. In spite of all this, I love you, Owen. I always did, always will. Okay, I don't have to tell you guys that it's not only true, it's documented to a degree where my mother almost put him in prison. All right, so this is what I responded, and I never respond, but this time
So that email from Owen's dad sounds pretty reasonable, actually, right? He's not spiraling or anything. He's just saying, look, I'm not gay. I never slept with anyone but with your mother. By the way, I'm curious who told Owen that his dad is gay. Right? I'm assuming that this story was from mom. So she told Owen that his dad was gay, and Owen just believed it, right? Very interesting. Also, very interesting that I paused right there. Okay, is the mic gain going up again? Okay, that's weird. Let me move this back a bit too. Alright, that should be a bit better. Yeah. Alright. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, Owen made up the gay porn. Yeah. Owen made up that his dad was gay to cover up the gay porn. Well, yeah. That's kind of what I'm assuming, too.
I was like, you know what? I'm going to spread God's word. Because if not for me, for him, for me. So this is what I wrote to him. I wrote, COVID-19 is nonsense for financial crimes, and you are full of nonsense too as you embrace the nonsense. It's why you can't see it, and those without eyes to see can't be shown. You did it to yourself. You can tell me whatever story you want, but I've known for a long time you are a liar. I don't want you to be a liar, and I don't want you to die a liar. I've already mourned you. I'm not here to judge you. Pray for forgiveness and try to say something true before you die. Death is not the end. And although you've hurt me in the past, I hope you at least attempt to ask God's mercy before you are judged. I'm guessing this letter sounds like gibberish and nonsense to you, which is why I never talk to you anymore. Inverted people only relate to inversion. I don't hate you.
It sounds pretty, it sounds like gibberish to me. And to a lot of people outside the Bears, too. I mean, you were talking about nonsense being nonsensical and whatnot. Like, how does that make sense? But, Ray, I mean, maybe, I don't know. What if mom did something to That's kind of my theory. I don't know. His mommy attachment is kind of weird to me. But that, that's a whole nother stream. Yeah, right, Johnny? This is supposed to help people? Yeah, who is this helping? I want to know.
I'm glad you put a roof over my head when I was young. At this point, there's no story or explanation to say to me because you've lied so much that it would do nothing. But God will listen to you. If what you want to tell me is actually true, tell God. He's been watching you unnecessarily torture yourself with deception and compulsion for decades. Make it right. So that's what I wrote to him. And his response is pretty funny. I'm just not writing anymore. He wrote, COVID-19 is not nonsense, and I have never lied to you. Thank you for your response. You have given me a lot to think about. Good. I'm glad. I hope he comes clean to himself. I am not here to give him any resolution. But lying to you and to anyone is simply not true, said the liar. I wish we could find time for a long, long talk the phone will have to do. And then he wrote, I've always made my peace with God, and God knows that I am good, moral, decent human being who tried always to do what was right. If you do not accept that, that is your problem, not mine. I pray for you and will always love you, now and forever. I wish we could talk sometime, ... But when I am dead and gone, you will regret not getting to the bottom of your misconceptions.
Okay, and that response is pretty much like the response that his dad gave is pretty rational, right? Now, not to get into, my personal life too much, but my parents got divorced when I was young, and granted, my biological dad, wasn't always there for me when I was a kid, at least not emotionally. And he and I had a bit of a falling out. But later on, really after my uncle died, my dad and I sat down and talked. And I decided it was because I wanted to resolve things. I didn't want to hold a grudge. And it wasn't easy at first, but we kind of resolved things, and I got to hear, his side of the story with my parents' divorce. And, I guess in some ways, his side of the story was true, and, in some ways my mother's side was true. But, the overall point, that wasn't really what mattered. The point that mattered was my dad and I were able to, connect on a deeper level, and I realized that, my dad does care for me. But, point being, I was willing to extend the olive branch out to him. And, no relationship is perfect, but it's better than it was. And so, Owen's dad is trying to reach out to his son, and Owen at 40 now, doesn't want to, talk to his dad. It's sad. So, let's see. Also, I already looked at. Well, no. That didn't happen, but well, I've got some funny family stories that maybe I'll share on here, maybe not at some point. So, but anyway, continuing on.
That's what evil sounds like. That's the hissing of a snake.
Really, that letter seems pretty rational to me, Owen. Very rational, in fact.
Yeah, dude, boomers think, lie what? I just twisted. Guys, he stole $250,000 from my mother to pay homosexual blackmail. BB is freed from resentments. I am freed from resentments. He's like, I've always loved you, but you'll be crying and weeping at my funeral. Guys, I don't know if anyone would even go to his funeral. You know, it's between him and God now. He can't say the truth ever. This is why I'm an expert at this, guys. Because I loved him once. And he was my dad. And I watched this happen over years, from small lies to bigger lies to full-on inability to look around and see anything true. When I look at those people on that bus, I see my dad. I see the hell. Guys, he's a world-renowned college professor. He's been keynote speakers in Germany, Japan. He's like this published guy, you know, full professor from Northwestern. They don't have a plan. They don't have a plan. When people are like, well, they're going to...
The way he talks to his dad, it almost kind of seems like he has begrudging admiration for his dad by, like, you know, listing all that stuff off. Like, you know, like he's envious of his dad somehow. I don't know.
The COVID, and then they're gonna, dude. It's the rantings of mad snakes that have taken over someone's mind. That was some doctor level wizardry. Well, it's so obvious when you speak wizardry. He's probably been rehearsing for hours what he's going to tell me about how he was really saving someone with all his money that he couldn't tell my mom. Guys, it's pathetic. There's been men that have come to my mother's house looking for money. I don't know what he does with these guys, but it is gross.
I've really thought about that, though, where it's like, I don't even know if he's a homo or it's just extreme narcissism.
Okay, and I'm not here to judge him. I like putting this out in the public. It's safer for my mom.
He's not here to judge his dad, but he already has. Right? Like, that statement makes no sense, Owen. You have judged your dad already. And, you know, how is it safer for your mom to, like, have all this dirty laundry aired out in public? I'm curious.
It's like secrets are what these people rely on. You know, they want these false perceptions of them. It's 2020, baby. That which is inside is now made aware. Everyone sees what you have been this whole time. I think your response to them was perfect, brother. Thank you. And it's true. If you have something true to say it to God. He will listen. I won't. I don't have the divine ability of understanding what is a lie and what is not a lie coming out of a liar's mouth. I would believe nothing.
Well, you believed Nimmer there for quite a long time. And also, you have a 147 IQ, right, Owen? So, you know, I would think that someone with a 147 IQ would have a pretty good, you know, ability to discern things. Right? Guess not, though. Yeah, and Johnny brings up a good point. You know, he gave Nimmer $35,000 for cancer he didn't have, referring to Eric Nimmer. So, you know, that's funny. Owen won't believe his dad about him having cancer, but he'll believe his token opener that he had brain cancer. And yet, like, everyone, you know, everyone around him, like, on tours and whatnot, was like, I don't think this guy has brain cancer. He's functioning, like, a little too well to, you know, have brain cancer. But, anyway, continuing on.
And I have no ability to make it right for him. I can't give him forgiveness. Stating you'll cry when he dies is pathetic. Yeah, no, he fantasizes about it, guys. These are sadists. They're masochists. They inflict pain on others, and he wants me to yell at him. He wants me to hurt him. I know he wants me to kill him. I won't. That's their dream. Why do you think they fantasize about boots on their neck and Nazi takeovers? Oh, the Nazis are coming. They want that. I have profound insight into the world of this madness because of my dad, and I'm glad I shared this today. Wasn't planning on it, but they want it. It sexually arouses them. As sick as that sounds, they hate themselves. They want someone to end it. And I won't take that burden. I won't take his bones on me. I've forgiven him. It's between him and God. And this is what's really helped me understand all of these levels of financial crime, because it's not on, like, this has allowed me to extrapolate this knowledge to, the grabblers and all these people. Because it's like, what would happen if I went and killed my dad? Would my mom be free? Would I be free? No, I would be a murderer. He wants me to. It's like that scene from Seven, when Kevin Spacey's like the final sin, and he shows his wife's head in a box, and Brad Pitt couldn't stop it. He had to murder him at that point, and that was the final masterpiece of Satan, wrath. That's why I've been preaching this for years now. When you strike them down, they become more powerful. You are not in a position to do that. Only God does that, and he does in a way that is beautiful. Vengeance is mine, said the Lord. You know that's true. You're tingling right now, right? I'm tingling. I feel energy all over the surface of my skin. Look at the goosebumps on my skin.
He's tingling? He's tingling because vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Also, I find interesting that he's taking this approach now when back in 2018 he was basically, without directly telling the Bears to go, well, no, he actually did say, if anything happens to me, kill everyone. Right? So, that was, this whole vengeance is mine. I guarantee you he will say something in the next few days to contradict this statement.
What I'm saying right now is true. I can feel energy go. Fruit, not blood. You want to really hurt the devil? Guys, I was raised by the devil. You think you know darkness? I was born in it. He used to control me with suicide.
Okay, notice how he says that his dad is the devil. His dad is the worst person in the world. That's a little harsh, considering that, like, I don't know, there are serial killers, murders, actual dictators out there in the world, but yet your dad is, like, worse than Hitler in your mind, Owen. Gotcha.
When I first had a child, I felt a tingle in me of some of the things that my dad would say. And I had to get to the bottom of it really fast. And I did. And it doesn't control me anymore.
Wait, so you had a tingle about the things that your dad would say to you when you had your son. Now, like, I've heard that having a kid changes you fundamentally as like a person, and I don't have kids, but you know, that's what I've been told by my parents and by family members and by some of my friends who have kids. You know, they've all told me that it changes you, but not one of them has told me that like having kids has made them tingle. Right?
My father was much like yours, Big Bear. Much love to you. A lot of ours were. I'm not a victim. You're not a victim. We're not victims. You've merely adapted to darkness. I was born in it. That's flat out abusive. It also made me who I am. There's abuse all over the place. Rising out of abuse is what makes you a legend.
He's right. You are right about that, Owen. But the problem is you haven't done it. Because you still bring it up all the damn time. And you're what? 40? 41? So, obviously, you're not over it. And, Tacoma Hooligan, I think Apex might be in the chat, but he's not on air with me. That'll be on Saturday, I think. It's when he usually comes around here. But, stick around if you want to watch.
But my dad is a master wizard. He's a master. Listen to, I could break this down and analyze it for you to show you what he was doing.
No, Owen, that's my job to analyze you and break you down, okay? That's my job here at the Whitfield Report, is to break down your commentary analysis and to do it with Biden and, Kamala, which I did a podcast yesterday on Kamala Harris. So if you want to listen to that, it's audio only. Link is in the description below. If you're on YouTube.
I'm very much sensitive to the coronavirus. Should I die and we never chat again, you will be very sad and probably crying. He fantasizes about it. That you never got the whole story out of me. I am not gay, have not had sex with anyone other than your mother, and certainly we have all these letters. Certainly never paid anyone for sex. It is really too bad that you won't talk, that you won't let me talk to you about any of those things. I am still around. But you will be the one suffering, not me. This is to his own son. My life would be over. See, that's where I think he's going to see some, I mean, the death is not the end, guys. They want it to be because they want it to be over. It's not. And I never met your second son, let alone the one due this summer. Yeah, I make it a point to not allow my children around sexual deviants. In spite of it all, I love you, Owen. Always did, always will.
That is rich, Owen. You don't allow your son to be around sexual deviants, right? Yet again, do I need to, yeah, I do. I think I do.
5 months of full-blown, I'm doing videos on it.
The dick.
You're involved in a trauma cycle.
Give me a 9-inch dildo.
It's not even anything.
And right now, NASA figured out how to get the biggest dick in the world. Because they did it with magic.
Best thing to do with placenta.
Can I squirt out of it?
Maybe in 2 weeks I'll start seeing it, like I'll freak out again, but like right now I'm pretty close to
Squirting!
And if that makes me less entertaining to watch, I don't care either.
Can you hear me now?
I'm gonna put this in my mouth. It's a dick. All about getting them dicks.
I don't care anymore at all.
I can't afford it. I gotta watch my pornos. It'd be nice to not have to watch your pornos. That was my pussy squirt.
By the way, thanks to Bruce City Synth, who is part of Semper Reloaded server. She's the one who edited that compilation together, and yes, it is an edit, but Owen talks about like dick so much that, you know, you can do edits like that. So yeah, when you talk about not wanting to you know, all your kids are like around sexual deviants, you know, well, I mean, there's no other way to say this, but if that's the case, you shouldn't be around your own kids. So, Josh goes, save Owen's children from Owen. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Peace? Question mark. Yeah, I have peace. Do you? He's like, I love you so much. You're the special boy. I love you, but you will be the one.
Wait, I thought Mom was the one who called you a special boy, Owen. Right? Your mom is the one who called you the magical boy, right? So that's not your dad, or if your dad also called you a special boy, why is it that you're mad that your dad called you one but not your mom? Again, his clinginess with his mom is a little weird to me.
Crying at my funeral, not me. I will be the dead one. You sure about that? My pedo uncle said the same crap. Yeah, it's all the same demon, guys. It's hissing of snakes. Wow, he wishes for your suffering. He dreams of it. He wants it. He would be happy if I lost everything. He would say, I gave him the offer, and it was his fault. He'd probably be aroused by it. They're sadists, guys. Masochistic. They want everyone to suffer because they suffer. And
okay, case in point right there. Owen drew another sexual parallel for something that didn't need to be sexualized. Right? But he's not a sexual degenerate.
deep down inside, they want someone to end them because they want to pass that poison on to somebody else. And that is where it stops right now. I forgive him. And I don't need...
Okay, then, right, why do you talk about it? Why do you talk about your dad all the time, then? Seems pretty weird if you forgive him. Right?
justice. I don't need revenge. God will do it. He does it every time. Pedestal and pit, exactly. Trying to project his sin onto you, right. I won't cry at his funeral. I won't even...
Or maybe the reverse of that?
Go. Why would I?
Oh yeah, Josh, it is surreal. The words Owen and peaceful in the same sentence is surreal sounding. Oh yeah, Josh, it is.
It's so cold, Big Red. No, it isn't. That's the irony. That's the funny nature of God. It's like this man has been fantasizing about everyone weeping at his funeral for so long, and I bet no one goes. I bet it's canceled because of COVID-19. But that being said, I hope and pray that he asks God for authentic forgiveness. When he says that God knows he's good, God knows he's a good... we're not talking about the same God. He's talking about Satan. the God of this world, the God that promises death, oblivion, that you won't have to answer for your sin, that you enter nothing. That's the God that he says knows he's a special boy. We don't pray to the same God. Who is your master is the question. And
wait, but Owen, you've said yet again, repeatedly and repeatedly, that you're not a religious scholar. Yet here you are making religious, statements again. But, it is what it is.
when you've been through hell and you've seen heaven on the other end, like you can see it in other people. You're like, who is your master? Why are you screaming on this bus? Why do you wish me and my beautiful children to put a gag over our mouths? Who is your master? I know who my master is, and my master is the master of your master. Your master went rogue. He's squatting on God's land. And you think because of tax exemption status and your paperwork that you have power over me? You've merely adapted to darkness. I was born in it, and I got out of it. I got out of that darkness, and it's made me strong. Because I did it by choice. I'm not a victim. I'm made in the image of God, and I'm being fruitful and I'm multiplying. What kind of man wishes his own child pain? An evil man. A man whose master is Satan. Because my mother is extremely good. Like, my mother's aging backwards. Like, her mind is awesome. But I've been aware of the Grabbler and the Goblin and the Gamma and the Inverted Man for a very long time. I'm not a victim. I don't have to just come up here and be like, my dad is so bad. He's not. He's been taken over, body snatched. Did you guys get anything good out of that? You're the True to the Bears. Thanks for sharing. Oh, good, awesome. But just to understand the nature of what we're up against, Banjo Bear cracked the case. The nature of what we're up against is the inversion. It's crackhead saying, I'm going to call the police. Who? The reason all of this is happening is because the pensions are gone. People have lived their lives on a promise of a debt that is not payable.
Okay, so I think that's the end of the, the end of the segment on his dad, but, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of have to admit, I feel bad for Owen's dad. I mean, the dad's letter seemed pretty, legit. And, his dad seemed to be the one who was making, sense. And maybe his dad is a bad guy. I don't know. But, again, is this at all anything that you want to be airing, in public? Right? This is anything that I would want to be airing in public. And, Owen claims to forgive his dad, but he brings up, the problems with his dad all the time. On stream, no less. So, that's that. And, interesting. A couple quick housekeeping things. First off, thank you to Ozzy Mozzie, Fat Kick Boy, and Tacoma for contributing, for giving me lemons on D Live. I really appreciate that. And thanks. So, and in fact, let me, while we're on D Live. For those of you who are over on D Live, let me open up the chest for you. So get ready for that. Yep. Okay. Okay. The more your viewers engage in your channel, the more on the okay. Let me see here. Okay, and I will some. Alright, so let me open up the chest here on D Live. And yeah, get ready to distribute, guys. So opening up the chest for you guys. I know you guys wanted me to do that, so hopefully some of the D Live people here, you know, can get that. Yeah, dlive.com, dlive.tv/the Whitfield Report. So okay, and Ozzy Mozzie got the reward, so congrats, and thanks, you know, for contributing again. So anyway, final comments from YouTube as well. Larry says, I've known John Smith for years, but who knows everything on anyone. Joshua Rogers in the chat says, I feel bad for Sidekick Bear, because you know that Bear Rug's mouth is actually Side Chick Bear to Owen at night after Amy kicks him out to the she shed every night. That's funny. So, and oh wow, Ozzy Mozzie just donated another diamond, so thank you. So at any rate, though, folks, I think that will do it for the show here tonight. So yep, and so guys, I want to thank you so much for watching, and I will be back Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, to talk more about China and some of the selection stuff. Apex Gamma will most likely be joining me, and we'll have a great show. So, thanks everyone, and good night, God bless, and God save this great nation, and whatever you do, you know, beware of the squirters out there.
Five months of full-blown. I'm doing videos on it.
The dick.
You're involved in a trauma cycle.
Give me a 9-inch dildo.
It's not even anything.
And right now, NASA figured out how to get the biggest dick in the world. Because they did it with magic.
Best thing to do with placenta.
Can I squirt out of it?
Maybe in 2 weeks I'll start seeing it, like I'll freak out again, but like right now I'm pretty close to
Squirting!
And if that makes me less entertaining to watch, I don't care either.
Can you hear me now?
I'm gonna put this in my mouth. It's a dick. All about getting them dicks. I don't care anymore at all.
I can't afford it. I gotta watch my pornos. It'd be nice to not have to watch your pornos. How was my pussy squirt?
Look at that big dick squirting. Oh yeah, baby. On a giant dick with fire coming out of it.
It'd be nice to be the Jolly Green Giant, and they forced me to suck them off in a closet.
I was just a piece of meat for that dude.
BB, I need help. My fiance's mom's aunt
passed from COVID or how she told the hospital. She was elderly. As a result, though, she's worried and considers me. I don't care at all. That woman is a fucking retard. Once you understand that, everything makes sense.
Because it's about the dicks.
I have to go to the gay bar every day.
Quick, touch your asshole.
Must be nice.
It's like in a bar, it's like $5 per. People go out and have 8
Dicks.
not think twice about it. It's $40 plus, maybe $10 in tipping depending on how drunk you get. $50 could buy you 50
Dicks.
Guys, I used to be a drinker.
You think it's tough to rape a guy? You think it's tough to become sexually aroused by a guy and fuck the guy?
It might be nice. You can be banned for life. I don't have to squirt and I'm jerking off and
I'm obsessed with dicks.
I know what they're doing. I can hear the zipping from my end of the phone. Just zip,
Obsessed.
just zip.
Obsessed.
Either they just got done jerking off or they're about to start. Like I can hear the zips. It's like a sea of 1,000 zips. They're just like
must be
It's squirting on a level that's tough to fathom.
Next, he's gonna make us put the dildo in our ass.
I'm gonna put you on the ground. I'm gonna fuck your asshole.
that's when you pivot. Right. Just walk away. Must be nice.